Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another night of Malt and Magic, the Forgotten Kingdom of Nyalin. I believe this is episode 11 now. The guys will probably correct me in a minute if I'm wrong. But as always, a massive thank you to BattleBards, Tabletop Audio, Ben Sound for our sound effects. I gave a massive shout out last week to Incarnate as well. If you're not using their tools for mapping, go and check them out. Because it's been really, really useful. I found it really, really useful, especially for my homebrew world and that homebrew world of Nyalin. Other than that, my usual warning of adult language, adult humour, you have been warned. But with that, let's get into the action. Hello.
So I just have to say that I saw on one of them little mini screens down here, Danny just playing the drums to that bit. Just going away.
I mean that outtake reel.
Rocking out in the bloopers.
Loved it.
When we hit 100 subscribers, that one's going out.
I'll do a helicopter if we get 100 subscribers.
Well, that's it. We're not getting any more than 99, yeah.
There you go.
So, last we left off, we have had a very, very busy couple of weeks. To the point where last week we had just managed to get ourselves, and the party had just managed to get itself back onto the Winter's Tale, ready for the crossing between Greenflower and Seameet. And it was relatively uneventful, if you can say relatively uneventful. Only took a week to get back this time. Which was interesting. Usually it's sort of when they first told you it'd take anywhere from sort of 2 weeks to a month, so even this time going back it was quicker than usual. Did kind of hit a bump in the road halfway through, and had a fight with a kraken, albeit not a fully fledged kraken.
That's good to know.
So there was no legendary actions, if people noticed last week. I homebrewed a little bit of that one, just so it didn't totally wipe you out. But no, it was fun. You still took out a kraken. Poor Bothrid lost his javelin of lightning, delivering the final blow. We almost lost a turtle friend, or tortle friend, I should say. Thanks to Anders' sort of acrobatics, managed to rescue him, and some timely healing from our Grave Cleric in the corner. I should say in the middle, really, because technically he is in the middle there. And then we finally got back to Seameet, upon which Dargon had a very frank and honest discussion with Captain Swift. I almost forgot the name of my own NPC's name then. And Captain Swift has vowed to fight alongside you in whatever battles are to come, or whenever you need extra help. We also found out that Dargon, as multi-classed, if you like, has been gifted some extra powers from the god Palor, and Bothrid spent some time freaking Ander out with his new wild shaping capabilities. The viewers got a very sneaky little insight into some things going on with Ander, which I won't talk about until Ander chooses to reveal them. And it was all good fun. And so I think last we left off, which seems to be my go-to phrase at the minute, you guys had just entered into the Cherry Blossom Inn, the local tavern in Seameet, spoken to the tavern owner, the tavern waitress, if you like, and she had said that strange folk were about. It had been a bit of a strange few weeks. It's been 3 weeks now since you were last here. But you didn't necessarily notice anything different, and Dargon did the right thing of trying to make sure all of his items were still on his person, having had the hilt of Dawnbringer stolen. Yeah. Yes. The only other thing that you found out, which was more relevant, I think, for Ando, was the fact that the lighthouse had not been lit in some weeks, in some time. And then you all went to bed and had your long rest. So if you would all like to tick off long rest now, and make sure you've set that all up, we will begin in the morning after you have just returned
Can
to
I
Seameet. Yes.
wake up before everybody else to go to the lighthouse? Potentially. Although Kirik is an early riser, I don't know if I'll beat him, but I'm hoping to sneak out and go to the lighthouse.
So let's do it this way. Roll me a stealth check.
$24.
Yep. Okay. So with that, you managed to, despite the early time, you don't know if anybody else is actually awake, but you managed to sneak out the tavern unseen and actually make your way through the, not quite a town, not quite a bit, it's a bit too big to be a village, not quite big enough to be a town. But you make your way through Seameet along the familiar path towards the lighthouse. As you walk up the steps to the lighthouse, you look to your left and you notice that where there was once sort of a field type area, there is now a series of tents, or a small group of tents gathered there. And then you knock on the door?
I'm gonna put my hood up and go invisible.
Okay.
Just in case, because I'm not sure who those tents are. But is the door locked? Is it open? Is there movement coming from those tents?
At the minute, from what you can see, there's very little movement in Seameet. It's still relatively early, or still quite early. The door to the lighthouse, however, is locked, as it is always locked to outsiders.
I will pick the lock rather than knock.
Roll me a d20 and add your proficiency bonus to it, please. Do this at disadvantage.
Oh, you bastard. That was a good roll, I know. Right. 9.
Now, usually locks for you are something of a trivial nature. This one, however, as you actually put your thieves' tools in and try to pick the lock, it's almost like you get past the first lock and then you hear a clunk, and part of your lockpick shatters as you pull it out.
Ah, bugger. Okay. Now, with there being outsiders, and with the light not being on for a week, I'm worried that it's been taken over, as it were. There's been like a coup or something. So, can I sneak up to... Out of all of the tents, are they all the same, or is there like a tent that appears to be the leader's tent, if you know what I mean, like a grander tent or anything?
As you look at these tents, they are all sort of cream sand coloured tents. One of them has a red stripe painted either side of sort of the door flap, if you want to call it that. In the middle sits the embers of a campfire, and around it you've probably got around 5 or 6 tents, and then this one which is slightly bigger than the rest, with these 2 red stripes painted either side.
I would like to approach that tent, obviously being sneaky, and try and see who is in the tent, to see if I recognise anyone.
Okay, so as you're invisible, I am going to need another stealth check just to get through the front flap without anybody seeing you.
Yep. 21.
So you manage to mask this almost as if it's just a breeze. And you go inside, and there is a bed and sort of a mini room set up in here. There's a couple of trunks and chests. A pot sits in the middle. Looks like it's been used for food the previous evening. The bed, however, is empty.
Ah. Not what I was expecting. Is there anything in the room that I can discern to try and see if I recognise like any clan markings or any gang markings or anything like that?
So you don't necessarily see anything with any group indicators. However, on a table to the side, make me a perception check actually before we do this.
11.
Okay, so you do notice the table off to the side, and there's just an array of objects on there. However, you don't manage to discern what any of those objects are. You're sort of looking in the immediate room, and it's, apart from the 2 red stripes either side of the door flap, there's nothing discernibly different from any other tent type layout. Some furs and skins thrown around for warmth and comfort. Other than that, it's just a tent, just what you can understand.
Can I go into an adjacent tent, please?
As you go to step outside and the flap opens, the flap actually hits against a rotund belly, and you just hear this, ouch. Who's there? Show yourself.
So obviously I'm invisible at this point. Can I step sort of backwards just into the tent? But obviously I'm just in front of the entrance, but they can't see that.
You can.
Yeah.
I'll take your previous stealth check for that. The figure steps into the tent now. And as the figure steps in, you now see fur everywhere. A very feline type head, short pointed ears, and very, very rotund stomach. Stands on 2 legs. Very simple clothing. Now, you have seen this type of creature before. Make me I'm going to say a wisdom check for this, please, to see how much you remember from before.
Not a lot with the 5.
So with your 5, something of this creature is familiar. You know you've seen this type of creature before. You cannot place your finger on when, but you know something important happened the last time you met a creature like this. The creature steps in. Looks at the floor. Sniffs the air. I can smell you. Show yourself.
Fuck. My planner's gone to shit. Could I am going. I've got a fly in the room. I'm going to. Can I see past him? Is there anything behind him or into the centre where they've all put, other than the campfire, that I can disturb? Because I'm thinking I'm going to cast my mage hand as a distraction so he can turn around and I can fuck off. Because this has gone tits up for me now.
You can just about, past this creature's large size. You can just about see the campfire.
Doesn't Mage Hand drop invisibility?
Oh,
It would.
shouldn't have said that. That'd
The
been
voice of
fucking
wisdom
good to
out
hear
of the
that.
corner.
Thank you, God. Out of nowhere.
You're welcome.
You've told me he's important.
That was a metagaming moment, Mr. Ricks.
Yeah, my bad.
Well, from my brief memory with this touching straws here, do I remember him to be an ally, or an ally of mine, or like an ally of the Eladrin, or a foe?
So you don't remember this particular creature himself. You have seen the type of creature before. And the last time you saw a creature like this, there was an important event that happened. That's the only thing you can sort of get to.
So I probably shouldn't kill him. Is there any way to sneak past him?
You can try.
I will try and sneak past him.
I am going to need you to make me a sleight of hand check, please.
Ooh, 22. I've got plus a lot for all these, which is pretty good.
As the creature sort of moves around, looks around, you spot your moment and you dart past him. There is like the briefest essence of wind, if you like, briefest touch of a breeze as you fly past him and almost use the movement of the door flaps to sneak your way out. And you are now beyond the tent. And as you step outside, you see more of these creatures, all very similar in nature, in colour and in style. They all have this sort of sandy brown fur, black spots covering that sort of the bodies. All these feline faces, small pointed ears, long tails, but very simple clothes. Some of them carry some very makeshift weapons, some sort of very simple weapons. And they all seem to be up cooking or preparing things. You can see in the corner that one looks like they're preparing some leather and working some leather. Another fashioning trinkets and items out of wood, sticks, stones, and occasionally a gemstone. And you now see this little community among these tents. And then behind you, the figure steps out. And then in a strange language, just speaks out. And you have no idea, you can't translate, but a couple of the other creatures look up and respond in a similar, almost mewling tone.
I'm going to try and sneak off and go back to the tavern now.
Okay. So I'm going to say at this point you do just make your way off and head back to the tavern. As you enter the tavern, still invisible?
I drop my hood just before I go back in.
So you drop your hood and open the door. As you open the door, Bothrid is already down, just sat at a table. And you see him just sort of almost playing with his druidcraft a little bit, casting a daisy in one hand and then casting some thorns or creating some thorns in the other. And he looks up. Ada, where been?
Good morning, old friend. I have been doing some reconnaissance, which I can tell all of you about over breakfast.
Breakfast good. Where others? Where Dogon? Where Kirik?
They must still be asleep. I will go wake them. I'm assuming I know where their rooms are, by the way.
You all were sort of in the same hallway,
Yeah.
so you know roughly where they are.
So I will firstly knock on Dargon's door.
Yeah. Who is it?
Dargon, I've been out this morning and I've been doing some reconnaissance. I need to report back.
Too early.
Just meet me downstairs, man.
All right. See you in a minute.
Then we'll go to Kirik's room.
What? Who? Just a minute. I opened the door.
Rise and shine.
Yes. Hello.
Sorry to intrude, but I believe I have some important information to share. If you would like to all meet me downstairs. Bothrid is already
Of course,
there.
yes. I will just get ready. Close my door back. Start
And I'll go back
getting
downstairs to sit with Bothrid and await.
So I'd collect all my gear, make sure that I've got everything. Not expecting us to just stay, and also trying to just make sure that we always have our kit nowadays. And I will head down as I'm passing the bar. Can we get some breakfast and some coffee over here?
And it's still relatively early, and there's a sort of a young barman just sort of lent, bleary-eyed, and sure. What?
Yeah, coffee, breakfast, and get yourself a coffee on me. You look like you need it.
Coming right up. You're big.
Yeah, you're small.
And he turns and dashes off behind the bar to a kitchen.
So is everybody gathered round now?
Kirik?
Yep, yeah, I would just head down and make sure that breakfast has been ordered, but probably don't see the barman, so I'm just going to assume.
So,
The barman, you do hear some clattering around from sort of behind the scenes, behind the bar, and what you can only assume to be the kitchen, and you'll have to forgive my movement. I am getting the whiskey.
I'm on the same one! Oh my god! I'm on exactly the same one.
That's a
we
good
go.
sound, isn't it? When you pull the
Tonight's
cork out.
episode sponsored by Aberfeldy.
Oh yeah, it is.
If you watch
Other whiskies are available.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, gents.
So, Ander, what in the blazes is so important that you decided to wake me up?
So I look around the room to make sure there's no cat people, for lack of a better words.
It's a good description.
I have to admit, I've snuck out this morning. The lighthouse, what the taverness lady, the barmaid, what the barmaid told me about the lighthouse, it made me worry for Abaya. So I snuck out, and when I tried to pick the lock to the door, it just wouldn't open. I don't know why, but I suppose that's not important now, because there was a camp next to the lighthouse, and I snuck into what appeared to be the leader's tent, and what I seemed to found was moderately dressed, not flashy, but a community of, now they look like cat people. They seem familiar, but I can't pinpoint the race or where I've seen them before. I just know that this could be important for us. So I wanted to report back. These might be the outsiders that everyone was worried about or talking about, but what I don't know is whether they are friend or foe. They nearly caught me. They sniffed me out, but luckily I managed to escape unnoticed. But I just wanted us to be wary as we start this day.
Well, thank God you're sneaky, Ander. Clearly helped you out.
Thank God somebody told me about my mage hand.
I don't know who that was.
You will pay for that
Would
metagaming moment,
yeah,
is all I can say.
Otherwise,
Would I know
I'd have been
about-
whiskers by now.
I was just gonna. Yeah, go
Would I know about these cat people?
I was going to ask the same.
So I'm going to ask Dargon to make me a wisdom check and Kirik make me a history check. Or a nature check, actually, for yourself.
Four.
16.
4.
It's too early in the
Coffee's
morning.
not kicked in.
Too early in the morning.
Dargon hears cat people and just goes, Kirik, on the other hand, you hear that, and just the way that Ander describes them sounds very much like a race you have certainly read about. Where else might you have heard about this race? Where might Kirik have gained this knowledge, other than reading about Nylin?
I'm going to assume that I came across some of them during just kind of my growing up, just through my spending time in libraries and fountains of knowledge. Might have come across them.
Indeed, and during Kirik's youth, travelling, spending time moving to different towns and entering those towns, seeing camps set up in similar way, you know, or you believe that these may be tabaxi, which are a feline race of creatures, and you understand that they are very tribal in nature, and they wander from place to place, selling trinkets, selling items of fancy and wonder, and they will take gold, but more often than not they would prefer to take wondrous items, not wondrous items in the terms of D&D's description, but items of fancy, or even a piece of lore. They are a strange race, very nomadic, if you like.
They would I know if, with my role, would I know if they are usually seen around these parts of Nylin?
This is where your knowledge of Nylin itself is a bit thin. The tribes and the denizens, I shall say, of Nylin was not something that massively was talked about, but you knew the land of Nylin before it was removed from time and space was certainly host to all manner of creature and race and people. You can also surmise, based on the events that brought you here and the other events that you've seen, that despite them, if they were natural to, or if they weren't natural to Nylin, weren't from Nylin, should we say, didn't descend from Nylin itself, there's nothing to stop them having been brought here in a similar nature to the rest of you. It's safe to assume that.
I'll say to the others, cat people. It sounds like you are talking about perhaps a troop of tabaxi race that are coming along. They usually travel and are looking for some exchange of products. They don't usually deal with gold, but they're more interested in trinkets and the like.
When Kirik says the actual name of their race, does it trigger anything for me?
Make me a history check or a straight wisdom check with advantage this time.
$12.
Dargon?
Oh, alright. Which one?
History or a wisdom check with advantage.
Ooh, 90. Unnatural 20. For history.
Unnatural 20. So what was yours? Yours was a 12, wasn't it, Ander?
Yep.
So again, the name Tabaxi strikes a chord, and you are taken back sometime to events before you finished the mine, and there was something while you were first getting used to your party and Dargon and the rest, and something, the Malt Masters took you somewhere, and Tabaxi were there. Dargon, at this point, everything comes rushing back to you. You remember the trip into the Greenwood on that fateful night where you had to investigate the murders and the missing girl. And your hand instinctively goes to the bag of holding, where the book you recovered still sits. And you remember that moment where the Malt Masters called upon you, brought you to Nylin briefly, although you didn't know it was Nylin at the time, but having seen the maps now you do. And you went through that All Hallows Eve event, is the way I'm going to describe that, and that should then
do we so yeah, we remember it, wasn't it, we did go to a little village or hamlet, so was that full of Tabaxi, or was it just that there were some people there and
so you remember that the village itself was inhabited by just sort of, I want to say normal races, but other races that live together as a community, and the Tabaxi had been driven out of their homes in a desert to the west, and they'd been driven eastward, and had eventually travelled about as far as they could go and settled in the town, in the hamlet next to the Greenwood. And there were people that had gone missing, people that had died, and it was also the night where you discovered the culprit was a headless horseman.
Yes, but being controlled by a woman?
It was the waitress of the tavern who had been slighted and set to get her revenge in a storyline pretty much taken straight from Sleepy Hollow, because I love that film and I love that story.
Yeah. And that, I think, was my first point of inspiration when I realised. So we remember that little hamlet was actually pretty full of Tabaxi because they'd been pushed out of their previous home.
Yeah, so it wasn't full, but there was a tribe of Tabaxi there. There was a troop of Tabaxi.
But, I mean, as that is my only sort of connection, then I would have thought that would have been... I wouldn't necessarily know that they are nomadic. Or I wouldn't relate that, would I?
You did speak to them at the time, and they did speak to you about the fact that they were a tribal race.
Right.
And they had a home in the west, in a desert that was quite comfortable for them, but they'd been driven out.
From the west. Right. Yes.
So, can we assume Dargon's just relayed that all to us, rather than him having to say all that again?
I would say yeah.
So, would that mean the desert to the west, as in where the Black City is?
Oh, that's my thinking too, Under.
So maybe these could give us vital intel on the Black City, or at least the desert itself, which we've been told is a suicide mission, and they may be able to give us vital insight. It may be worth an audience with them.
Yeah. I think we might be able to learn some stuff from them, at the very least, from what Kerrick's just told us. We might be able to trade with a certain few things we might have.
That'll
always be helpful.
At this point, you're interrupted as the tavern boy sort of stumbles across coffees. Oh shit, breakfast. Back in a minute. And he turns around and stumbles back into the kitchen. Almost looks hungover, and you do get the faint whiff of alcohol on his breath.
So, what do we think then? Do we go and have a chat with them after breakfast? I'm guessing that the weird folk around that we were told about last night was indeed this lot. Awful coincidence if it was someone else they were talking about.
Yes. I think you are right.
Alrighty.
I would like to ask you if you've been here before. Then you should know there are some things that I would like to buy and see myself in possession of. I was just wondering if you know of anyone dealing with the jewellery in here of some kind.
Well, we weren't here for very long. I think, from memory, we managed to find a blacksmith of sorts. But I'm sure if we ask around, we can see much more. This isn't really the largest place, and we might be able to sort a few wares out here and then head to somewhere a bit bigger. Maybe Moonbright might be the stuff to get the stuff that you and we all maybe need. But hey, we might as well ask, see what's here. We were in a bit of a hurry last time. I'm not saying we're not now, but maybe we'll ask around, see what's here.
What sort of
Sounds like a
items
plan.
are you hoping to procure?
And at this point,
I
you're
need
interrupted again as the tavern boy just comes and brings meats, breads, cheeses, puts them down. Breakfast.
Good night last night, was it?
Could I ask you, firstly, what's your name?
Billy.
Billy. I am Kirik Gravetusk. Nice to meet you. I was wondering if you could tell me, Billy, if any places around these parts that perhaps sell or deal with an assortment of jewellery of some kind.
Jewelry? And he looks a little bit confused why a half-orc would be interested in anything to do with jewelry, isn't it? Well...
Do I get that vibe from him?
Yeah, he's sort of looking at you as if to say, the fuck do you want with jewelry?
I am a cleric of sorts, a priest of sorts. I need some materials for my rituals.
Well, it's market day today, so there's the market in the centre of town. You could go over to the blacksmiths, and he deals in other goods as well. There's the shop next door. I forget her name. Pardon me. But she has odds and ends. Yeah, so you could head that way. Or there's the market.
Right. Yes.
You could even check out those strange cat things to the north by the lighthouse.
When
have
they arrived?
Stuff.
When have they arrived here? By the way,
what day is it today?
What day is it today?
Good question.
We've been on the sea, boy.
Yes.
4 days? 4 days. 4 days. I think. 4 days? 4 days? 3 days? 4 days. Yeah. At this point, you get the impression he is extremely dim.
Well, Billy, thank you for your help. We will. You've been extremely useful. That is. Have a good day.
Tip?
I toss him.
I
toss him a gold piece.
What? I was going to give him a bit of bread.
I was going to give him a silver.
He flicks the gold piece in the air, drops it, picks it up, shoves it in his pocket, and then just runs back to the bar. And then you just see him.
I then turn to Ander and say, well, in answer to your question, I have a couple of spells that I require some materials for, and I would like to see myself in possession of some of them at least.
Because part of me was wanting to check on the lighthouse one more time, but given it's more daytime, I could actually knock on the door to see if a buyer answers, and being a master thief, I may be able to procure some items from him that he may have his little sparrows have gone and got for him. I could always check.
I would prefer if you didn't. Thievery is not something I'm very in line with, let's say.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Moral Compass, we will do it your way.
Lawful good clerics! Just to make this complicated. Cool.
Well, I won't mind popping to the blacksmith, seeing what he's got, just having a peruse. As you may well remember, I did shatter my hand axe in one of those bloody caves, so maybe a replacement is in order.
Sounds like we should head to the
At this
blacksmith.
point, your right hand begins to itch.
My right hand begins to itch.
Yeah, your right hand begins to itch.
Okay.
Carry on.
Yeah, say again.
Perhaps, is it time outside? This doesn't make any sense. What time is it? Do we know?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking you, Matt.
You're asking me. So you guys haven't really had much of a chance to look outside, but Ander, having been outside, understands it's probably coming up to about 6 in the morning. It is very, very early, maybe a little past 6. Now you've been sat here chatting, and Ander thinks about it a little more. Maybe it's closer to 7 at this point, but he's really distracted and just can't stop at the minute. And he's wearing his gauntlets, but at the minute, just scratching.
Are you okay, Ender?
I think these gauntlets have just got my hands a bit sweaty. Just a little bit. I do have sensitive skin.
Insight check.
Roll me a deception check, Danny.
Here it comes. Oh, cock. 18. No, 13.
Oh, fuck.
28. That was a natural 20.
There we go.
Finally.
Instantly get that Ander is probably not being as truthful as he would like to be, or you would like him to be.
I'll keep that for myself.
Well,
And I will say, well, perhaps we're going to the blacksmith. Perhaps you can get the different gauntlets that are slightly more accustomed to this weather.
But these gauntlets give me extra strength. I can't give them up. But maybe
I understand.
I will see if I can get some ointment or something.
Ander's going to get some cream for his itch.
Yeah.
well, look, I think it's going to be at least another hour before we can start heading out and actually saying hello to people. So, what about we think about, after we have got everything we need here, where do we go next? Also, after we've seen the map and when we've seen the Malt Masters, because I can't remember, did we twig where on the map we may have been put last time with that, Tabaxi hamlet?
Would you like to get the map out and have a look?
Yeah.
So, with this, bear with me just a second because I just need to make sure.
I'll bring it up if you like.
Bear with, because I think I need to upload the newer version to Teams because, as I said at the beginning, I've been playing around with Incarnate a bit more and I've improved the map of Nylon.
What do you want to... Yeah,
so cool. I'm just about to upload it into Teams.
How does Bothrid look today?
Bothrid is quiet. He doesn't look as solemn as he has done. And you can see the remnants of daisies, twigs, thorns, vines and stuff where he's clearly been pissing around with his druid craft. But he's just quieter than usual.
Okay.
Okay, map of Nylin is now being uploaded.
You know, it was it was quite a surprise that Captain Swift said that she would give us a hand. You don't think we could? Well, I'm in two minds. Either we ask for more help, or we don't want to do that because we're going to end up getting a little more of a well, we'll start a bit of a riot if we tell everyone that things are getting real. But they've also been living in hell for a while, as we saw with Moonbright. You know, random stuff just like pops out of the ether. So I value your thoughts as to whether we attempt to gain any more assistance or whether we keep quiet, keep down, and maybe also the Dark Eladrin's got a few more people who's listening in. So what do you think? Do we ask for help or keep quiet?
I feel like we need to reach the Malt Master's Keep before we make a decision on who to trust.
I understand and agree with that. I was just maybe we just consider it for a while.
Part of me was thinking that if they come along on our journey with us too early, it may give up our advantage. If the Eladrin has some spies, my gut reaction when you asked the question there was to maybe call upon them on our march upon the Black City.
That's a good point, because actually in Moonbright we had to dissuade those other two from following us by means of the fact that we killed them. But you know, so yeah, you're right. He has got a lot of people around.
And if we ever end up in Moonbright again, we have the favour of the city, with you being their champion, us saving their mayor. The city's guard will come to our aid if we need them.
Do you think I'm still their champion? We'll have to find out.
I'll put some coin on to say you are.
Yeah, that you will.
Matt, did I receive during my evening a message back from Grellan?
No.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Boom.
So
There is more to the map. I've just zoomed in a smidge.
there is more. I'm thinking if we just move a little bit further to the east and maybe a little bit further north.
Eastern
There we go.
Greenwood.
There it is.
Exactly.
So we have not been over there since.
Not yet, no.
Yes.
So that's where you understand now.
So we went to East Vale, is that right?
Did go to East Vale.
Ah. Yeah, it's all coming back
Can't
to me.
say it
Amber.
again, folks. Incarnate, amazing tool.
This is freaking brilliant. That being said, one of our routes might even take us past East Vale eventually. I know we've got to go up that way, but that's a long way ahead.
Yes.
So, anyway, here we go, Kirit. I know we've gone through it before, but we're at Seameet. I think we all want to get back post haste to the keep. So, a trip through Moonbright, get anything else we need, and then try and get back to the Malt Masters.
If, thinking about it, didn't Swift say to you she was going to... Was she going to dock her ship in Seameet or dock her ship at Sorrow Falls?
She was going to dock her ship at Sorrow Falls, but I don't know whether that's in the same timeline as we are. We could go and ask her, but I think we want to get back to Sweet.
Yes, I don't know whether us going to Moonbright and the Malt Master's Keep is quicker than just getting on the ship up to Sorrow Falls with the captain. But then, if Kirit cannot find what he needs in Seameet, Moonbright may be a necessity anyway.
I agree. Do we know how far it is, the path So each hexagon, how long it takes, because I keep forgetting, and therefore how long that would be on horseback.
I think it's 6 hexes a day, isn't it?
Roughly. I think
Okay.
it's 4 hexes a day, actually. I will do my quick DM check on that one.
So I would say that
It
it's
was
going to take us
either-
it's going to take us a day to get to Moonbright. It'll take us a day, 2 days possibly to then get to Malt Masters. So
How many miles can we do a day? About 24.
I'm just searching now.
Go 3 days to Malt Masters Keep
Yeah.
from Moonbright. It's 1.5 from here to Moonbright.
yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
yeah.
Exploration.
Is there anything where, like, if we go fast,
So normal pace is 4 hexes per day.
okay, and is there any, like,
If
we
you
can
want
go...
to do a fast pace, it's 5 hexes per day.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't really help us. It doesn't get us there. Would we and the horses get exhaustion if we carried on to Moonbright, essentially?
Yes.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So, Anna, should we go ask her, or are we just saying we've got to go to Moonbright anyway? Or should we find out what we get in Seameet first? And you're muted. And that's Dargon's. Ander, you're muted.
I agreed with you. Yeah.
Good.
If Kieran can't get what he wants, we'll go to Moonbright.
We
Alrighty
can check what we can get here, and if not, then we can ask Captain Swift. If we find everything we need here, then we can ask Captain Swift to take us with her.
Should we go and ask? Shall we go to the Tabaxi first, see what they're offering, or should we get what our usual supplies are first, and then go and see on a whim? What do you think?
I think we can always look in town first, and then head to the Tabaxis, and then if Anders still wants to go to the lighthouse, we can do so.
My fear is, if I come to the Tabaxi with you, he will recognise my scent and know that I snuck into his camp this morning. So I may have to hang back when you negotiate.
You want to borrow my pipe? Get yourself covered in smoke?
Would that work? We'll find out. We can try it, yes.
Your choice. You want to come with us or not?
Yes, okay, I'll come with you.
All right. Hey,
So-
and as we leave, you know that cloak of yours. Why don't you scare the bejesus out of that guy behind the bar?
I only have one use of it left for today,
Oh, all right.
as I used it this morning to sneak in on the cats.
All right. Spoil sport.
With that though, I chuck a hard bit of cheese at his head.
Okay. Because fine. I was going to do something else, but that's fine.
Make me a ranged attack.
Oh no. Poor old bugger.
Are you gonna have sneak attack on the cheese?
Come on. I'll do it manually, D&D Beyond's gone funny. 19 to hit.
So you literally,
Yeah.
as he sat there, it just fuck.
Thank you for breakfast. See you soon.
Dargon's there roaring with laughter.
And as you all exit, you just hear this shout after, "Wait, you didn't pay!"
And
I go
with
back
that,
that way.
Oh, I was just going to roll a gold coin along the floor towards him. But Kirik's doing
Thank you! Oh well, we'll do Kirik then.
You got there first.
Okay. Well,
How much was it?
he didn't say.
How much was it?
So you walk back in,
Well
how
done.
much? And he goes, 5 silver.
Probably covered by the tip that he was given.
You're going to have to help me. I am not at the moment carrying silver on me. You'll have to exchange some. I give him gold.
Please tell me he
That-
gives back
that-
like 7 silver.
That would. I gotta just look at him and say that it's just 5 silver of change.
Thank you. And he goes
Oh,
and
nice.
brings back 5 silver and deposits 5 silver in your hand.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
You too.
Come back.
I will do.
And as you sort of exit and close the door, you again just hear this.
Is there a window next to the door?
No.
Oh,
There is, however, a window just off to the side.
Can I
of
still
the
see
tunnel.
him?
As you walk up to the window, yes, you can.
Is he within 20 feet of me?
What are you going to do?
Yes.
I see something in front of him on the bar, and I cast light on it.
So again, he sat there and again, this just bing, perfect light. Oh, and then he looks at this goblet that you've cast light on, and he just donk, donk, chucks it, smash, and then
Alright.
goes, "I'll go wash the dishes," and he disappears behind the bar.
Alright, I've had my fun.
Poor old Billy.
Our shop's looking like they're starting to open now.
So you're starting to see more people sort of milling around the town, village, whatever you want to call it. Or should we call it a villain or a tillage? But there's a lot more people moving about. You can hear now the starts of what sounds like the shouts of market people towards the centre of town. You can also hear the distant tink, 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 which sounds like somebody working with metal. And there is a hubbub throughout the town which is beginning to rise as people start to go about their daily business. Which direction are you taking?
The sound
Um,
of the metal,
yeah.
I think. On our way, do I
Okay.
see any kind of religious building?
As you exit the inn, before you, the first thing you see is this huge, great cherry blossom tree, pink blossoms covering it. There is no building that looks distinctly religious, no church or temple. However, there is one building that stands out just beyond or you can see it beyond the cherry tree. There's a small building just beyond the cherry tree, and then further than that there is a larger building that has a red brick roof. And on one side of that building there are familiar symbols on top which represent some of the gods. But they look like they've been put up there manually, sort of thing. They look like they've been just added on to the building after the fact. So it's sort of maybe a makeshift temple. It's not a defined temple, so to speak.
Do I notice the symbol of the Raven Queen?
Do.
Cool. Awesome. So I wanted to know, for now.
Very good.
Anywhere you want to go before the blacksmith? Either of you?
No.
I'm happy to accompany you where you need to go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course, you sort of
Do I
turn
notice-
right
sorry.
out of the... Carry on.
Do I notice the thief children running about yet?
I am keeping like all hands on all equipment.
So you notice a couple of children running around. But there is no real way of you telling whether they're the children of the Thieves Guild or not. They could just be children playing.
Okay.
So you turn right and head up towards the sound of the blacksmith. You pass a small farm area on the left-hand side, and then you come to there's two buildings right next to each other. One has some stalls set outside it, and there's a couple of people stood there selling knickknacks, and looks like there's some rudimentary armor and some just general mundane items. And then next door there is a figure sat outside, tink, 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 working at some steel. Looks, from what you can tell at the minute, like it's going to be either a short or a long sword as they work into it.
This individual look like?
This individual has sort of black hair down to around the shoulders, very short. You now get the impression from where you're looking that probably dwarven as you approach. A very simple sort of grey cotton tunic underneath a leather smith's vest. Very simple leather boots. His face is already speckled with soot and dust, having clearly been working at the fires at some point. And yeah, he just continues to work at this steel. Tink, tink, tink.
Morning, my good fella.
Aye, you boys are back.
Yeah, we are. I was wondering whether we might be able to purchase a few things off you.
What should you be having in mind?
I seem to have broken my hand axe, and I bring out the handle with the smashed blade. I was wondering whether you've got a new one. You know, whatever you got.
You certainly fucked that one, didn't you?
Aye.
And I cannot get this accent right. Fuck off, Danny. See him laughing every 2 minutes. So he says, he just sort of says, wait a minute. Disappears inside, comes out. This be doing you? And it's just a very simple hand axe, steel blade. And he sort of spins it around in his hand. Good for chopping. And then throws it into the the wooden wall of his hut. Not bad for throwing.
Well, that looks pretty good. You haven't got anything more ornate, have you?
Give me a sec. And he goes back, sort of pulls out the hand axe, sticks it in his belt. And he's probably gone for about 10-15 minutes, and you just hear this clunk, clunk, dunk, 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 as things clearly fall over. Fuck's sake! And then he comes back out, and he's holding this hand axe that, again, it's a steel blade, but the handle this time is not just a simple wooden handle. There is leather wound into it, and script carved into the side. This is about all I've got.
Ah,
So it
looks
holds
nice. May I?
Aye. He hands it over.
So I see the script on the handle.
We do?
I recognise. Do I know what it might or might not be?
What languages do you speak?
Common, giant, undercommon, and abyssal.
You actually recognise this as giant script.
Wee.
And it simply says air.
Does it feel light? If I've
Feels about the normal weight of a hand axe as you sort of weigh it around.
that's pretty nice. That. What does it do? Apart from throwing and slashing.
We fucked it, I know.
Ah, all right then. Well, how much?
Well, for a piece like that, it's not your simple hand axe. That'll be I'm gonna have to say that'll be 50 gold at least.
Oh, 50. Oh, blimey. Oh,
We actually have other things in mind that we wanted to ask some. Perhaps if we buy more items, we'll get some sort of discount. Oh, I see that you've got some returning customers here.
Make me a persuasion check.
It should not be me doing this talking. Yeah, that is a 3.
For that piece, it'll be 50 gold and that'll be the fucking end of it.
oh, you twist my arm. All right. 50 gold.
Now what else be you looking for?
I was wondering if you deal with some sort of jewelry, or if you have any platinum rings around, or any sort of. Specifically, I'm looking for some ruby dust and 2 platinum rings, if you have them.
I think I'd be having something like that. 2 seconds. And he disappears back. And he brings out 4 rubies in his hand and 3 platinum rings. He's going to use these rings in a bit of armor, but if you've been needing them, they be yours.
I require only 2, so you can keep the last.
So be it. 2. He plonks them down and he said, now, I can make you dust, if you be wishing. The minute I just add the rubies.
How much would you say those rubies are worth at the moment?
Please, I'll call her. While I find the right tab.
Hey, Garrick, Ander. This hand axe has got some writing down the back. It says air.
As in, what we breathe.
Is that what I see, or does it? Or it's not like air of? Yeah, it's air.
It
Yeah.
just says air.
Weird though. Still quite heavy.
What language is that written in?
Ice giant. I learnt that from the giants in the nearby mountains near where we grew up. They're
He's also sort of kind of descended from giants as a Goliath.
yeah, but
It's a
long while.
branch of.
That
So,
made reviews to us in the mountains.
Yeah, fingers crossed. This will be a good replacement.
Don't break this one.
I'll do my best.
This is where I really need my player's handbook.
I can check for you if you want.
What are we looking
Oh,
for?
here he is. Oh, he is. He's bought it. Hey.
Kirik's got fucking post-it notes and bookmarks in his.
So,
Yeah.
Mine still
there we
smells
go.
new.
Selling treasure. I've got it.
What you need to do when you're
Selling
DMing
treasure.
is just have like notes everywhere. It's like
Yeah.
where things
Yeah,
are.
I need it. It's the one I've not got. It's the one I've not got.
Sorry, what
And it gives me-
hand axe am I popping in my equipment?
You will have to wait, and I will sort that for you. Trade goods. Okay, so he looks at the rubies. Turn these into dust, they be losing some value. I'd be saying 12 gold pieces.
Do I believe him?
Make me an insight check.
10. That was a 2.
You don't sense any deception from him, but then you also get the feeling maybe he doesn't have a real understanding for the value of gems. He's used to dealing with weapons and armor, so maybe he's being less than honest with the way he's valuing these items.
More out of ignorance than anything else.
Yeah, would I have any idea, kind of looking at the rubies?
The rubies themselves, from what you can see, they look pretty flawless. They're very, very bright rubies. You don't see any imperfections from what you can see.
Well, in that case, I'm afraid I need a little bit more than that, but I will take the platinum rings for sure.
Being a thief in my youth, do I know the value of the rubies by looking at them, and whether 12 is correct?
Me a. I'm going to say make me a wisdom check, but add your proficiency bonus to it. So making a sort of thieves check, if you like.
You don't want to take these and we get some more, Kirik? It's always worth having a minute.
21.
So you know that rubies in their purest, most clean-cut form are actually worth thousands of gold. You understand that a clear red ruby itself is probably worth around 5,000 gold pieces just by itself.
And what value do you need them to be, Kirik?
I haven't told you. More than 12.
Are you going to purchase these rubies?
Hearing what kind of Dargon said, perhaps it's a good idea to just keep some of them and then perhaps try to find more. How much would you say that how much would the service of you dusting these rubies would cost, you'd say?
It'd be taking some effort to break them up. I'd probably be charging, let's say, 10 gold for the work.
Very well. In that case, if my companions have no objections to this, I will take the lot.
My heart hurts a little bit seeing what's going to happen to these rubies, but I'm a better man now. I will resist.
Yeah.
So that'd be the ornate hand axe, the 3 rubies dusted, and you want these 2 you sure you don't want the 3rd platinum ring?
How much are you charging for the platinum ring?
Actually, I could keep.
Ye be honest folk. Or so far ye be honest folk. Let's say for the whole lot. We call it a square 200 gold. Platinum not be cheap.
I hand over the 50 gold for the hand axe.
Be thanking you.
Will you be requiring a 3rd platinum ring, Kirik?
Yeah, could use it. Do any of you have any other use for rubies of any kind?
Apart from lobbing it at someone's head, I don't think I've got much use for it.
I mean, it would look good in my trinket box. but I'm thinking it may garner favour with somebody at some point. In a trade or as a bribe.
Yeah, well,
Always handy.
being a couple of gold each, I don't think it's going to help us that much.
True.
They are worth thousands.
Make me a stealth check.
Yeah.
It's alright, I'll
You roll a natural 1 or something.
I've got advantage on stealth checks anyway. D&D Beyond's being a dickhead, I'll do it manually. Right. 12. Ooh. Oh, 12 again. 12. 2 6s.
Thousand you be saying? Well, in which case I may have to be reevaluating my price.
Your little dwarf ears heard incorrect.
Make me a
I did
deception
not say-
check with
I did not say
disadvantage.
thousands. Oh, you bastard. Fuck's sake.
Roll that deception high now.
Oh no! 11.
Don't you be trying to backtrack now, boy. You said thousands. I'll let you off for the hand axe. 1,000 gold. The whole lot.
In that case, I think I will. Unfortunately, I don't find myself in the possession of such an amount. Perhaps I will take
What
the.
do you need it for, Kerry?
Could
If I may ask.
Oh, they're simply a spell that I would quite like to have a 50 gold worth of
Useful.
ruby dust.
Useful for all of us.
Yes, we could say so.
I'm happy to put some money forwards if that's what we need to do.
well,
How much would you like?
as I got us into this mess, I may be able to get us out of this mess. And then I produce this dazzling, priceless diamond and show the dwarf that this is worth 4 rubies. What now? Do you want the diamond as well?
Nothing. Carry on. Carry on. I don't know anything. Anyway, sorry. As you kind of raise your hand, I immediately grab your hand and put that. I may require that as well. So.
Could you just write me a list of what my positions I should need? This is getting confusing for me now. Okay.
And you
Maybe
see
I
the
could-
back of his eyes go.
I'm sorry. My. It's still early in the morning.
May I offer you the trade of some fine silk? And I pull some fine silk out. This is worth at least 700 gold. Spun from
He
the...
looks at you all at this point and says, "You just be needing a small amount of the dust, right?" Switched accents there.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Carry on, sorry.
Correct. Yes.
How much do you need, Kerry?
50 gold worth.
Just 50? No more?
No more.
Don't want to double up or anything?
No. For this, just 50 gold.
Alright,
Okay.
boys. Let's be doing it this way. I dust the rubies. I put this aside for ye. You be needing more, you come back see me. We say 100 gold pieces for the dust now. The hand axe been paid for. Those platinum rings. Another 100 gold.
I will put down 100 gold for the ruby dust.
And
I'll put
for
down
fucking
100.
up. Oh, right. I was going to offer to pay, but
No.
you've done it now. Fuck it.
I'll put 100.
Honest
I'll put
business,
the other
lads.
100.
Honest business, lads. Appreciating you.
No, we
Come back now.
appreciate you. I'm sorry for the convenience.
Aye, it's early. Come back an hour. I'll have
I
these
think he
rubies
means
dusted
he's
for you.
sorry for me. I think he's apologising for me. I'm sorry.
Nay bother, nay bother.
Do I have the rings now?
You do have the rings now.
But we're coming back in an hour for the dust, yeah?
Aye, 1 hour. I'll have these dusted.
I leave the shop with my tail between my legs.
Just before we leave, my top man, where might we be able to get some clothes, some warm weather gear or something? You got anything around there? Those two fellas might need a couple of warm weather gear. Also, you got a livery around here that we might be able to purchase some horses. I'm gonna need a big one. I'm not gonna lie.
Horses you be struggling with, but if it be warm weather clothes you be after, you may as well just head next door. Old Veylan see you through.
Valence, thank you very much. Sorry, what was your name?
My name? You don't even know in that one yet. You're not earned my name yet.
Fair cop. We'll be back in an hour.
I see you in an hour, lads.
Hey boys, you want some cold weather gear? It's been getting cold over these last couple of weeks, isn't it?
Great.
That's
idea.
true.
Yes.
Good idea.
Apparently we can just get them next door.
Let's head in.
I will not do any haggling.
Clap you on the back of the
Arguably,
head.
you are the person that should be haggling
Suppose
when
you
you
should
roll
be
the right
haggling.
way.
Before we head in,
You whisper there are thousands in front of the bloody shopkeeper. I may have the intelligence of a rock, but even I know I can do that. And I didn't even know they were expensive. You dingleberry.
I should just learn to look at Kirik's face before I finish any of my sentences. That seems to be the indicator of whether I'm on the right track or not.
That's the bit that does me in
speaking of
every
which,
week.
could I have a look at that diamond of yours? You had.
Yes.
How much would you say that diamond is worth? Since you seem to be so accurate with.
5,000 gold is my estimation.
Well, that's certainly a good amount. Great.
This is
So I
Dave
need to know.
What
speaking.
would you need it for?
I was going to say, breaking that thing up, couldn't we, keep, bring us back from the dead, 20 times?
Yep.
That's Dave.
I then spend
That was out of character right there.
Yeah.
I then spend a certain amount of time explaining to Ender how the spell Revivify works. I'll tell him if I have the ability. I was granted the ability to bring people back once they have passed across the line of the dead. But in order to do so, I need a diamond or a series of diamonds that are worth 300 gold.
Right, now, can you remember when I had a moment of clarity and I asked him to kill me and bring me back? Now I know he can do this with this diamond. Does my non-clear self want to give him the diamond? I suppose my question is, would the sword stop me giving him the diamond?
What are you thinking? What is Ander thinking? Is Ander thinking if I give him this diamond and kill myself, he can bring me back? Or are you just thinking this is
cool when
Why
we
is
get
Ander
into a
thinking?
fight. Kind of thing.
My initial thought was, one of us has died already. If it'd be handy for him to bring him back, and having a near-death experience myself on recent travels, I'm a bit more in tune with my mortality, shall we say. So that didn't cross my mind, that thought, no.
In this instance, the sword stays silent.
And I will hand Kirik the diamond. I trust you will use it for more, for more holy or better means than I would use it for. Consider it a gift.
Very generous, thank you.
The only thing I ask is that if we both die, use it on me first. And then I give Dagon a little nudge.
And I give you one massive nudge back.
I'll just pull my headset off.
Oh, God.
Dunk. Shit flies everywhere.
Nearly pulled my ear off.
You nudge me a little bit. I nudge you massively.
While this conversation is going on, you now start to hear the sound of music being played from somewhere to the north.
Would we assume that that's coming from the market area?
Having not known where the market area is yet, you just can hear it coming from somewhere towards the northern area of this town, tillage, village, whatever you want to call it.
I say we head into the shop, get our clothes, and then head to the market or the lighthouse.
Yes.
Sounds
the music
good.
is drawing me in, but let's get our cold weather gear first before I forget.
See what they got.
Well, as you enter the shop, there are all sorts of just myriad of mundane items all over the place. There's furs, there's food, there's steel items, there's just coloured glass all over the space. It's just a pure myriad and mismatch of all sorts of different items. Behind a counter, however, stands a rather stout woman who looks up. Hello. How can I help you? And as she looks, one of her eyes actually points off in a random direction, and she looks at you straight with the other one.
Oh, good hell.
It's fucking Mad-Eye Moody. Are you talking to us? Because her eyes confuse me a little bit.
And you see her demeanour change a little bit from sort of that welcoming to continue to piss me off and I'm going to kick you out of here.
I'm on a roll today.
Yeah, pretty much.
What is it you want? You skinny little runt.
That's fair. Being a skinny runt, I do not fare very well in the cold weather, so I was hoping you could recommend some warm furs for the mountains.
Just for yourself?
For me and...
for myself as well, and for both here. Our big friend doesn't require such an attire.
No, he looks like he can handle himself.
Alright, gold doesn't touch me. Take it kindly, though.
I think there may be some items I can help you with. And she disappears back, and then comes around with just literally she's disappeared behind this bundle of furs, and she sort of lays them down. Some bigger items for the orc, and for the what it got hobgoblin. Some skinnier items for you runt.
Thank you. I don't mind choosing from the ladies section.
I bet. That'd be all.
Might you have some some adventuring gear, or maybe something to cover us on our travels?
You after a tent?
Well, if you've got a tent my size, I'd be quite surprised. But
You'd be
you're
fucking
offering...
lucky. I think I got an old tent back here somewhere. She disappears back, and again she comes out. She says, "This probably be fitting two of you, but ye not be getting this fucker." And I've reverted straight back to the Irish accent because I was doing it for the dwarf, but fuck it, it works.
Well, do you do you want a tent, guys? Are you happy sleeping outside?
I think, if I speak for myself, I'm fine with sleeping outside.
And
Would the furs that are laid out between us, would they fit under my cloak of darkness, or would I need to wear them above my cloak of darkness? Therefore, if I put my hood up, I wouldn't be invisible. I'd just be a floating rug.
It's the way your cloak of darkness fits is it sort of just it comes over your shoulders and sort of clasps around the front. It's almost like a cape with a hood. So actually you figure you can probably get it round you. When I finish in fact I finished drawing it, you've seen it.
Yeah.
yeah, it just goes over your shoulders a bit.
Yeah. Are any of the furs in black?
There are some black furs. The furs look very simple. One looks like it may be bear, another one a brown bear, a sort of black bear, brown bear, maybe wolf skin as well, or wolf fur. But there is certainly black there.
Oh, so I've got a colour code, haven't I? So I will purchase your finest black furs, my lady.
We're now seeing the Danny come out in Ander.
Well, I can't stealth in a purple fur, can I?
So she goes, "Hi, black fur. That would be, let's say a gold piece for that."
Yep, I'll flicker a gold piece.
I'll
Thank
take
you very much.
I'll take the big brown one.
Excellent. And ye hobgoblin? Is he a hobgoblin?
He is, yes.
Yes.
Fine fellow.
Do you like the wolfskin, friend? Bothrid sort of steps up, having never been addressed as part of this party before. Please? No gold.
Don't worry about that, Bothrid.
Could we all fighting to pay for it then?
I mean, I'll let you pay if you want.
okay.
Give me a
Don't worry about that,
5,000 gold piece
Bothrid.
diamond. I'm good.
Don't worry about that, Bothrid. Ander will get it for you.
Bothrid turns and just like massive smile. Thank you. And he picks up the wolfskin and puts it on immediately. And this
I think you
actually,
should thank
this
him by
wolfskin,
turning into a spider.
this wolfskin fur actually comes
if
with
it
a
gets-
wolf head as a hood,
Oh,
which he then just plonks onto his head, and he's sort of trying to look at his own head like a bit.
Thinking about
But
it,
this
if he gets
massive
cold,
grin.
can't he just turn into a bear?
Yeah, but you also
Twice a
can't.
day.
I fucking bought it for him now, so he's got to wear it.
Anything else I can be getting
He
you,
just
lad?
lost the javelin. Give him something.
Would I be warm enough in just the furs, or am I going to need, I don't know, like a woolly hat and some tights?
So the furs themselves are certainly thick enough to warm the majority of your body. You've not got any sort of woolen boots or anything like that currently, but for the most they would suffice for colder temperatures. If you decided to go trudging through like ice fords and snow and like tundra, then you're going to need a bit more.
Ooh. Do you sell snowshoes? Like those tennis racket things? We're going to get to the
We're a
mountains at some
coastal
point.
town, right?
You get many a traveller come through here. I don't know what you may have acquired over the years.
When the fuck does it snow around here?
Well, then why have you got furs? We'll leave it there. Let's not
gets
get into
cold.
beef.
As her other eye just sort of swizzle around a little bit.
Look, it's cold. It's just fucking just rolling around.
Anything else that we require from here?
I'm all right.
Do you? No, I do not have any more torches. Do you sell torches?
Hi, how many you be wanting?
5, please.
And she literally just reaches under counter. 5 torches on there. 5 copper pieces. 6 for your cheek.
I've only got gold. Do you do change?
I can be sorting it for you.
I'll chuck her a gold.
She takes the gold, gives you sort of, how would I say, 6 gold pieces, didn't I? So she gives you sort of 9 silver back, and then 4 copper, if I've done the maths right. But yeah, work it out.
I'll take it.
Yep. Yeah, 9.
9 silver, 4 copper.
Thank you.
Where to now? Anyone want anything?
I must find out where this music is coming from.
The music?
Direction of
Now that'd be that new tribe of cat people. They play every day. Mighty fine music.
Ah.
Swizzle.
Thank you, home and
Do you
away.
have
We
any?
must,
Do you have any sort of incense blocks, or perhaps some perfume around, or both?
We're going to charm the ladies, are we?
Not necessarily, but yes, sure.
Not with that face.
I think I have some perfume. She pulls out, sort of goes behind and pulls out a vial of perfume. That be suiting you?
Yes, and do you also have incense, or is that something that you do not?
Bear with me. She sort of limps off, has a look around. I got 3 sticks.
I will take them.
Very well. We may as well just call that what's that? It's perfume. Call it 6 gold pieces. Be done with it.
Sure. I'll give her the 6 gold pieces.
Thanking ye.
Cool. That's it.
Just before we leave, my good friend here managed to get some tobacco for my pipe. I was wondering actually whether you or anyone else around here might have some cigars for sale.
Cigars?
Yeah.
She looks at you blankly.
I'll take that as a no. Thank you kindly.
Okay. I think we head off. In that case.
A cigar's
thanking
not
you.
invented yet.
Come back. She has no idea what a cigar is.
They are in D&D.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe in D&D.
Yeah.
You have yet to see it. Smoking them though.
Nope. Find something.
As we head off, I pass the vial of perfume to Ander and say, so that the backseat don't recognize you.
You genius! And I literally just bukkake myself with it.
I have to stand upwind.
Can let you have a point of inspiration for that, mate.
Yeah, that's close shit.
Nice.
I was thinking, what is he? This is a hell of a shopping list he's got here. What's he going to make? Turns out I just smell. Yeah, that's a great idea. So I'm absolutely doused in it now. And my eyes are
what
fucking
you doing?
stinging.
Just like pour, just
I've
pour it over
literally
your head.
bukkakeed myself with it, yeah.
Okay. So as you just see Ander literally just pop the top off and then go.
Yeah, no, you should have. No, yeah.
And Kirik sort of just looked at you like.
What is wrong with you today?
It just. Bothrid comes up, grabs the water skin off of Dargon's back and sort of pours it into his hand and just rubs it into your eyes. Better?
Thank you, Bufford. Yes.
You've now got one black eye starting to come up as he's just like literally jabbed you in the eye.
Yeah. To the market.
Looking for fur. And he starts stroking the wolf's head.
You look adorable.
Don't stroke it, it'll go bold.
Big toothy grin. So you head north towards the music, and at this point there is you sort of come towards the tents that you've seen before, and there's a little bit of a crowd gathered round, and you see by the campfire that you saw before, and three tabaxi themselves, one playing a lute, another one playing a pan flute, and the third one playing another stringed instrument which you've not seen before and you can't quite put your fingers on, but they are playing this very melodic jig. There's a couple of other tabaxi sort of dancing, and you can see the crowd head bobbing and feet tapping. They're sort of genuinely enjoying the music. There's one tabaxi sort of walking around with a cup, looks like just collecting coin from the onlookers for the song.
Do I determine this song to be a magical tune?
Make me an Arcana check.
As we are approaching this group, I would like to grab onto my holy symbol and cast tongues on myself.
That sounds dirty.
It's not as dirty as it sounds. Yeah.
I understand
Dirty
all
bastard.
languages. I understand all
you don't
languages.
instantly
within
get
the next
ringed or anything.
hour.
Right, okay.
No.
So I rolled a 22.
Cool. So there is no magic in this song at all. It is just the purest form of music. They are very skilled in the way they play. The pan flutist is almost a blur of this pan flute as they play this melodic jig. And eventually a couple more people begin to dance. It turns into a little bit of an event. Sort of people jigging along. And the tabaxi with the cup comes to you. Token of appreciation for our fine music, sirs.
I pop 5 silver on the cup.
Gracious.
I follow suit and I put 5 silver in as well.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I don't have any silver, so I'm going to pop a gold in. And I am also, while I'm doing that, or before and afterwards, I am checking for anyone behind me or anything to see if this is a distraction.
Make me a perception check. As the cup gets past to Bothrid looks around and then places his hand on top of the cup. And as he lifts his hand away, there is a perfect white rose. And the tabaxi looks, smiles. The most gracious of gifts, my friends.
21.
You don't see anybody around that would cause you concern at this point.
Cool.
Does this token of appreciation maybe buy us an audience with your chief, leader, head honcho?
If you wish to speak to our leader, I'm sure that can be arranged. You do not have to buy your way in.
What are you guys in town for?
Your graciousness is appreciated, sir. In town, for we are travellers. We bring our music, we bring our gifts, we share it, we trade, and then we move on.
What kind of things do you trade?
All sorts. Knickknacks, things of wonder. This rose will make a fine addition to our collection. Anything of not just material worth. We love things of wonder.
Where could we go if we wanted to, perhaps, purchase some of these items that you speak of?
You said you wished to speak to our leader. Follow me. We shall see if he is in his tent. And the tabaxi now, which now you pay a little bit more attention, you understand she is a female tabaxi, and she sort of weaves her way very elegantly and very deftly through the crowd. You guys sort of have to bump your way a little bit through people, and you get the idea, oh, fuck off.
I am
and
distracted
eventually
by
you
the
sort of
pan
weave.
flutist as we walk, so I'm bumping into people here.
As she sort of leads you around the back of the tents and then around the back of the campfire, and she peeks her head into the tent, and to you, Ander and Dargon speaks that strange language that you don't understand. However, Kirek, you understand it as my liege, some visitors. And again, for you, Ander, this rotund gentleman of a tabaxi steps out, and as he steps out, good day, gentlemen.
Ah, good
Is
morning.
it possible for me to stand not downwind from him? Would it?
On
Would I
your
be standing
tent.
in a weird position if I moved?
I'm going to
I've
say
got
make
in
a
the
sleight of
tent,
hand
haven't we?
check. You've not gone in, but make a sleight of hand check.
Oh, 8.
8. So he notices as he sniffs, and then you instinctively step back. And he looks at you, cocks his head to the side. Gentlemen, you've graciously granted us with gifts. How may I be of service to you?
We're just interested in the fact that I believe that you you're passing through town and have things to trade. We were wondering if there's something that we might be able to trade to you, and likewise.
What is it that you have to trade?
We may have a few more bits other than just gold. Is that of worth to you? These other trinkets, perchance?
Gold can buy us things. Things of rarity, things of wonder, however, are far more valuable. A legend, a myth, a magical item. Things that are not so often found. What is
At
it
this
you offer,
point-
and what is it you need?
Not wanting to get too close, I kind of grab it, go into my bag, and I grab out the green dragon horns that I've got. Green dragon claws, and I sort of pass them to Dargon sheepishly.
We've
What is
killed
it you have there?
We've killed a couple of magical beasts in our travels. Not by choice, but for survival, you understand. So these are from a small green dragon. And I let him see him. Are these types of things interesting to you?
They are certainly things we can trade along the way.
In a similar breath, I have some lion claws from a chimera. 3 of them here.
Chimera, you say? Interesting. What is it you wish to trade for?
What type of things do you trade? Magical items? Information? What might it be?
We travel far. We travel often. There may be some pieces of history, items of knowledge that we can impart.
I suppose we're keenly interested in what's happened to this land, and something we definitely don't know about would be to the west of here. The desert.
And as you say, the west of here, there is and as you say, deserts as well. There is a distinct sort of flash of darkness that goes across his eye. The western desert is known to most in this land. What is it you seek there?
My apologies, I didn't mean to speak out of turn. We are fairly new to this land, if that can be believed.
New to this land? You were clearly not born yesterday.
No, we were brought here by some fairly magical people. Do you know of the Malt Masters?
We've heard. Brought here. Now that is a wonder. Interesting. Perhaps we should visit Glen Tuag and ply our trade among the Malt Masters. Interesting.
I should definitely go there if you like whiskey. Become quite a fan myself. So, yeah. It's a long story, but we do think that eventually we might have to head west once we've done a couple of things in this land. And what can you tell us, if anything, about the Three Kings and what they may be connected to this land, and why so many bad things happen here nowadays?
He looks around. This is not the place. Come inside. Bold, and this he now turns to the female tabaxi. Make sure we are not disturbed. Maybe wheel the trinkets out once the music is done. And the tabaxi, that you now understand to be called Bold, bows her head. As you wish. And she sort of dances off and begins to dance behind the campfire itself, and these sort of flowing movements as you're led into the tent. At that point, I'm going to say let's take a short break, because I need a wee.
Yeah.
Here comes the lore dump.
Cool. So you all follow this rather large tabaxi into his tent. And Andy, you now see that in place of the bed, there is now also a number of stools set out, and a central table has been laid out with a jug and some cups on it. Come, sit. Let us talk. And he sits sort of behind with his back to the back of the tent, and sort of offers you all the seats that are around there. There's probably 5 or 6 stools now in this tent. This tent's the biggest of the lot, so you take 4 of them, and all sit down.
Do the stools look big enough to take me?
You sit precariously on one. It holds your weight for now.
Well, like I said, we were brought here a couple of months ago, I think now, and we've been trying to get this land back to the time and place and space it was before. That's as much as we know about this, really, without going into depth. So we're just curious what information you might be able to impart. And guys, have you got any questions or anything to add to that?
No. No, I'm still acting quite sheepish because I'm worried that he might suss or smell me. So I'm kind of just hanging back, not really drawing attention to myself.
Oh, and one other thing. We think we saw a collection of tabaxi up in a village near a forest north of here. Last time we were here, they were telling us that you've been forced out of places on the west. Is that true? And if so, who did it?
We have been travelling for quite some time. However, there were some tribes of our kind that settled in the desert. North of here, you say? By the Greenwood?
That's the one.
Ah, yes. The Lasting Shower clan, that one. Some trouble up there not so long back, I believe.
That was the case. Some nefarious magic going on. Nasty arcane nature, that was.
Interesting. So, what is it you need? You have spoken much of what you know, but not of what you wish to know.
I look at the other guys.
What can you tell us of Rachmanus, the king of the Black City? If I've said it correctly.
So you wish to understand the legends of the three?
That sounds about right.
And what is it you offer for this knowledge?
Were the dragon claws not enough?
Let us say, for such sought-after knowledge, some young dragon claws are simply not that interesting.
I go delve into my bag of holding and I pull out a chimera heart, and with the heart of a chimera buy me this knowledge.
Interesting.
Sorry, we were talking about the our lovely All Hallows Eve. Jump. Did we keep that book? Did we give it to anyone? I can't remember. Would it be in my bag of holding?
It should be in your bag of holding. I don't remember you giving it to anyone.
No, me neither. Can I remember if we knew what that book was, or was it just a nasty-ass piece of shit?
You
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have known what it was back then.
didn't have it identified as such, but were warned against it when somebody saw it. Warned against opening it.
I reach out to my bag. I'll take out a scroll. I say, well, if you seem to be interested in knowledge, perhaps we could exchange some knowledge for another. We have recently been in well, we had the bad luck of running into a kraken across the canal. We survived to tell the tale, as you can see, but I took some notes on this this beast. If you wish to be in possession of such a coveted item, perhaps.
Kraken, you say? Very interesting. And you survived? Yes. Interesting. The three were brothers. I trust you know this.
We do.
The one you ask about, Rachmanos, was the only true heir of the king. Or so the legends go. The other two by marriage or adoption.
I thought my notes say, this might be me, the king of Shivaspire was the only biological ancestor, and the king of Black City was an heir by marriage. Have I got that the wrong way around?
Are you saying that as Ander or as Danny?
No, I'm just asking you a question because I think my notes might be wrong.
So you're asking me that question?
Yeah.
Your notes are not necessarily wrong.
Oh, okay. I'm in. I'm up to speed yet. Right, crack on.
Cool.
Where was I?
Sorry.
True
Yeah,
heir to
that's
the
cool.
king. The others by marriage.
Yes, there was one true heir to the king. The other marriage. The other adoption. One gifted to the gods. One to those who dwell in the Feywild. And the other to the fiends and dark forces of hell. The conflict that ravaged this land almost claimed it once, and the king, the old king, gifted his son so that a peace would be formed. What is it that you wish to know more about? I get the feeling you already know this story.
I thought Dave was going to say something then.
That's basically just Dargon going. If my memory serves me, one of these was killed by a servant of the gods, a winged creature. Which one was that, if you know?
The last of the brothers.
Rachmanos?
This scroll. May I see it?
Of course. Pass it on to
You
him.
hand over the scroll and he takes some time to study it. Very well. The brother you seek knowledge on was the last to be of sound mind, protected by the Fallen, as he is now known. I believe he still dwells in this land somewhere, though none know where. It was him It was he who betrayed his master. Stabbed him with the very weapon he was charged to protect the boy with. However, also the legend goes, in their wisdom, the gods granted the boy a final wish. It is this wish which separates this land. It is this wish, powered by the essence of the boy, that keeps this land separated. I think that is worth the scroll. Would you not agree?
You switched the mic off. Okay.
Did you say the fallen killed Rachmanus or the son of Rachmanus then?
I don't think he said anything along those lines.
I
Which
did not.
one was he protecting? The fallen.
The fallen. He protected the son of the king.
The true son?
The true son.
And it was the wish of the true son that holds the power over this land, you say?
This is what I said. Or so the legends go.
Does the sun still live?
I suppose, in a way, you could say he lives. It is his soul that binds the magic, while his soul is still powered, I suppose is the only way you could describe it.
And does
The spell continues.
And does anyone know what Ramado's last wish was?
You are aware of the brothers' names, then? I'm afraid for the knowledge you have offered, that is all I am willing to impart for now, unless there is more.
You're a fan of knowledge, then?
We value all things that are rare in nature.
So I pull out the silk from my bag and present it to him, and then ask him the question, what do you know of any living heirs to the king?
And he looks at the silk. Very fine indeed. Tell me, how did you come by this silk?
Was there some knowledge we can exchange after the current payment goes over?
This silk intrigues me.
I obtained it by magical means.
So it would seem. In terms of heirs, there is whispers that an heir survived, whisked to another land, but little more than that do we know. Unless, that is, you know more than I. Correct, make me a deception check.
Oh, fucking here he is. Boy Scout's going to drop us right in it.
Yeah, you've been such a fucking angel all night.
I mean, that's a 14. Be a lot worse.
So his eyes look at you as you give the briefest shakes of your head. Continue.
Well, as I'm sure a keen mind such as yourself would be aware, knowledge can be power, and that power in the wrong hands could be dangerous. So, the information that we have gleaned on our travels, we feel does have value to you, but it may also have power to other people. And I'm sure you can understand how we may be cagey to provide said information, as valuable as it is. I would be delighted to tell you, but I am concerned how it would get used afterwards. I'm not
All
saying
knowledge is both a boon and a burden, but your wishes are your own. Let us have a drink, gentlemen. I feel the conversation is stalled somewhat.
Would you mind awfully while those drinks are poured, and thank you, by the way, that we have a moment of discussion outside your tent? Would you be obliged?
By all means.
And Kirik, may I?
Off it.
I sort of bow on my way out.
So, if we...
Bothrid goes to stay seated, and then as Kirik calls him, he sort of gets up and follows out. And as you follow out, the last thing you see is the rather rotund tabaxi leader just pouring out of the jug into 5 cups.
You alone in the tent now that we left?
Make me a perception check.
Perception 23.
Nice.
It is only now that you notice, as you leave, another figure come in through the back of the tent and move away some of the spare stools before that figure then disappears back out the tent as you continue.
I keep an ear out to the inside of the tent, if I can.
You can.
Do I notice when he pours the drinks? I don't notice that, do I? That's only Kirik. Can I kind of want to watch him to make sure he don't spike us. I don't want to get date raped. But I'm not going to know he's pouring the drinks, am I? So, no, I can't do that. My character wouldn't have seen that.
Okay.
Sorry for pulling you away, guys, but I'm a little bit out of my depth. We know what I feel is quite a lot. And without giving too much away, even if we are being eavesdropped, we know about what was at the bottom of the island and who was there. We know of a creature who has been helping us provide us with information. We have also that information, and we have possibly a little more knowledge gleamed in visions to both Andrew and I about this particular event. How much do we want to know and how much do we want to give away? We can tell them all, but it could be our downfall.
I don't think his recounting of the story was as we heard it from the seer. And I'm not wholly convinced he actually knows more than we do at this stage.
Well, maybe we're asking the wrong questions. Maybe we need to ask about what's happening now. What's going on, and whether there's anything that would be able to help us now.
So what do we want to ask?
Don't look at me. I just kick down doors.
With them being travellers and them probably scouring most of Nylon, do we want to go so far as asking them about the location of the third part of the prophecy?
Well, that's not a bad idea.
Would we be showing our hand too much?
That we might be showing our hand, but I wonder if we can ask them if they've ever been into that forest that no one comes out of.
Yes.
They may well, of course, say that they don't, at which point we haven't lost anything. But I am at a loss as to what else to ask.
That sounds like
Yes.
a plan then. We'll go in and ask about that. What are we willing to provide as payment?
Maybe we could tell tales of the Eladrin and what we know of him, and him to be the Fallen. Maybe that will glean us some information from him.
I could be wrong. Is he the Fallen? Or was it the gentleman we found who is currently helping us out?
Oh, you mean, yeah, Timael.
Yeah, just say his name in this whole camp. Good idea, man.
That was out of character. I was just making sure I knew what you were on
Too
about.
fucking late. I'll let you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dog, I'm trying to be sneaky and oh, you mean this twat?
Seriously, intelligence.
Anyway, no, we won't say that. That is out of character.
That was actually how I picked it up. So I could be wrong. But,
Oh, yeah, because it was actually Dawncaller who started the whole thing, wasn't it?
a little bit. Dawnbringer.
Maybe we tell him that legend of the sword that we've heard of, not that it's your sword now. And we tell him the tale of the Fallen. That may garner some more information. We don't have to let on that we're part of that story or that we've met them. But we could give him that story. That may work.
That's quite a good story. I'll let you lead on it though, Ander, because I'm a
The way
little
I'm
too
rolling.
close to it.
Alright. Okay.
Well, we could always give the ever vocal Botherid a chance.
Matt tell the story to himself. That'd be good, that.
We'll just sit back, have a whiskey.
Bothrid just looks at you like, no.
Ask him to fight a Kraken, he's like, yeah, go for it. Have a chat. No.
You fight, no speak.
I'm only joking, Botherid. Don't you worry. We'll all have a drink. You ready then, boys? Should we go back in and have a drink? I need one.
Yes.
Sure.
So you enter back in, and as you enter back in, you actually see the leader is sat, sort of leaning back a little bit, eyes closed, and as you enter, his eyes open. Ah, yes, gentlemen. Finished deliberating, have we?
We
We
have.
have.
Like I said before, knowledge is power, and well, we want to make sure that it lands in the right hands, like yours, of course.
So, before I tell you this tale, I need to know it is worth me telling. What do you know of the Phaliad Forest?
The forest has many myths, many legends, many a story attached to it. You'll have to be a little bit more specific.
Do you know the location
Please.
of the kingdom?
We will get there. Please, sit. This sounds like it could be a long conversation. Drink. I'll have food brought soon. Phaliad itself is an interesting place. What is it you offer in return? As he takes a sip from his cup.
Do I... Would I be able to tell if the cup is poisoned or tainted, or the drink is tainting it in any way?
Look at your character sheet.
Are there like full glasses? Because if so, we can just do cheers with him.
I'm going to say roll me a d20 and add your proficiency, because you are proficient with the herbalism kit.
Damn straight. Accidentally pulled that out of my ass, didn't I? 10.
Yeah, balls.
You sniff at the cup, and it smells like a fine wine, but beyond that, you cannot tell.
Rolling like a dream tonight, okay. So I won't take a sip, but I will tell you the tale of the fallen and maybe how the sword that came to kill the son or the king that started this whole thing off. I can tell you a tale about that if you would like.
That would certainly be a tale indeed. Interesting that you say that started the whole thing off.
This is what I hear. You know, myths get twisted over the years, but this is what I have heard.
Between you and I, my young friend, I would say things were in action long before the sword came into play. But still, you have a deal. The story of the sword, for what I know, of failure.
Yes. Legend has it, the sword was called Dawncaller.
Bringer.
It was a bugger. Dawnbringer. Fuck that straight away. Well, I did roll a 10.
He was
so,
he was in one episode, and you keep.
Right, whose idea was it? We've got Dawnfather, Dawncaller, Dawnbringer. Paul's wife's called Dawn. It's just, there's too many Dawns. I can't keep track.
Handbags at dawn. I mean,
It's fine. So, back in the room, Dawnbringer.
Dawnbringer. We'll edit that out. The legend has it, the sword was called Dawnbringer. Legend even says it was a sentient sword, and she could speak to whoever wielded it. Have I noticed that his ears are pricked up?
His ears have pricked up. His whiskers are sort of twitching slightly.
It is
Go on.
said this sword thrives on vanquishing the undead, and it is the weapon of the Dawnfather.
sorry, just at this point during the thing, I would bring out my pipe and the last few bits of tobacco that I have, and I am trying to look cool. Like I'm listening to the story.
Make me a performance check.
Oh, brilliant. How's guilty Kirik face looking?
Ah, yes. 19 plus 1, unnatural 20.
Eric's just drinking.
Kirik is drinking. Okay, good to know. As Dargon just sort of puffs on his pipe, and sets it down, looking suave as fuck, as a Goliath fighter warlock can. The tabaxi is actually paying you no attention whatsoever. His eyes are purely focused on Ander at this point.
Where did I get up to? So, sentient sword. Dawnfather,
Vanquishes
yes.
undead, Dawnfather.
Yes.
Yeah.
This weapon of the gods, when it chooses a worthy companion, is unstoppable. And we believe, or we have heard, that it is this sword that may have linked into your story about the son with his dying wish. We believe they are interlinked and interwoven. That is all I have heard.
That I do not believe. However, you have warranted at least some knowledge of the forest. An interesting story. More, certainly, I would love to hear. What is it specifically you wish to know about the forest?
I'm thinking I would like to know the location or safe passage to and from the kingdom within Fayed Forest.
There is no safe passage through Fayed Forest. That is abundantly clear. We ourselves skirt around the edge, but never venture near, and even in that short proximity, or close proximity, members of my clan go missing. That forest is Fey. There is magic in that forest, unlike any I have experienced before. To go into that forest is to lose oneself. No one, or at least no one I know, has returned. Many have attempted to get close. Some have been turned away.
Has anyone ever
Drink, my friend.
Has anyone made studies on the origin of this magic? Is it a spell put upon the forest, or is it coming from within?
I'm afraid that I simply do not know.
For the record, I did not have a drink.
It's okay. We do not venture close, for we are not creatures of magic. None within my tribe have any gifts of that sort. To venture there would be suicide for us.
So are only those of the Fae, or blessed by the Fae, able to enter Fayed Forest? Or the kingdom of Fayed?
I have never yet met one so Fae-touched, shall we say. I hear legends of those who are, but as I say, it is a place we simply do not venture near. Stop smiling.
Dave might as well be going,
Smiling suddenly.
Can I ask a player question that can be erased from the recording afterwards?
Yes.
Would Kirik know the origin of Eladrins?
Ooh. We're going to keep this bit in. I'm not cutting this out. I would like Kirik, sort of almost off screen, sort of in his own mind, to make me an Arcana check. Do it with advantage.
Cool. Yeah, Kirik's just like listening and maybe putting
Processing,
two and two together.
yeah.
Who knows? Oof, good thing that's advantage. That's a 21.
Yes, Kirik does understand the nature of Eladrins.
Cool.
Okay. Back in the room. Kirik, make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
I knew it!
I was waiting for that. That is a 5.
As you sit, and once you've sort of processed this thought, the room itself becomes sort of hazy, and you feel a little bit giddy in yourself. And the rest of you sort of notice an involuntary chuckle come out of Kirik's mouth.
If he'd have rolled a 1, would he have like instantly shit himself or something?
You will never know. And the Tabaxi looks at Kirik and chuckles to himself. Yes, I figured this particular brew may affect some of you in this way. My apologies. I did not mean to deceive. We saw the crests that the two of you, and he motions to Ander and Dargon, wear. And we know of the company you keep. We have few fine wines in our store. This one, it seems, comes with extra effects. You have my apologies. Let me have this cleared away. He clicks his fingers, and the figure comes back into the room that Kirik, you did notice before, but at this point you are just happily having a proper fucking party in your own mind.
Just ravens
And
everywhere.
clear. Yeah, there are ravens everywhere.
Ravens.
And the figure just sort of collects all the cups and the jug and bows and whispers, and all you hear is a... And the tabaxi leader just sort of leans back. The ale will be fine. And this figure disappears. And moments later comes back with a small keg under its arm, places it down, pops out, pours some into a goblet. This ale...
I immediately reach out and grab one.
Kirik reaches out. Are you knocking it straight back?
Sure. Yeah.
Kirik knocks it straight back.
I like this Kirik.
Some dribbles down his sort of side of his head. And the tabaxi leader, perhaps some water as well.
Is
Yeah, I kind of just put like the kind of mug forward as if another.
is he
Bothard
going
at
to
this
be
point
alright?
puts his hand on top and lowers the goblet down. Bothrid then reaches up behind Kirik. I take him for sleep.
Thanks, Bothrid.
Bothrid,
Looks
so-
like he needs it.
Lumbers Kirik a little bit over his shoulder and sort of drags him out as Kirik says, oh, this is fun.
We need the dust.
It's fine, it's fine. Meet at tavern soon.
So, with this, I take a goblet of ale and I do give it a good sniff if I notice anything.
Make me a perception check.
That is a 9.
Smells like dwarven ale.
I take a gulp.
Okay. Tell me,
Good.
gentlemen. What else can I tell you? What else is it you wish to discuss? Or is there something else perhaps I can offer?
Such as.
Unless you ask, I simply do not know. It is you that came to me, not the other way around.
I literally have nothing to say. No,
I'm not sure I trust him enough to give any more away.
Yeah, but he's
I
not
don't
asking for
want to.
anything at the moment. He's asking for what we want to know, and I am literally drawing a blank.
Well, I want to ask him if he knows where the third part of the prophecy is. Then he'll say, "Why don't you want the first two parts of the prophecy?" And then we'll have to tell him. And I don't necessarily want to tell him that bit. Do you know what I mean?
Breaking the fourth wall. Don't ask for the third part of it. Just ask if he knows about it.
What do you know of a prophecy?
That is a very vague question. Prophecies are made. Prophecies are revealed all the time.
I think
There will be someone in the local tavern claiming they have a prophecy. Forgive me, my Goliath friend.
I think what my my friend here was was asking for was in particular to what we have been discussing and a prophecy about it being returned from its current peril.
And the Tabaxi thinks for a moment, puts two and two together. You mean a prophecy of Nyland?
Yeah.
Yes, and its redemption.
It is rumoured there is a prophecy. Beyond that, I simply do not know.
Do I detect that he is lying?
Maybe an insight check. While that's going on, Kirik, you have at this point entered out into the fresh air, and as soon as that fresh air hits you, you feel instantly calmed and back to your senses. Having only taken a small amount of the drink before, the dwarven ale not really having an effect on you, there is something about the air itself which almost purifies whatever effects you are having. And as Bothrid probably got you to the other end of the camp now, the music's still ongoing and a little bit more of a crowd, you almost snap back to your senses.
Bothrid, I apologise. I don't know what's gone over me. You can put me down now if you want.
Sorry. You drank? Not good drink.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Strange. Do you sense something in the air? You seem to be quite accustomed to. You seem to be quite accustomed to the nature. Do you sense anything strange in the air here?
And he takes a moment and sniffs, breathes. No.
Probably just me.
However, he is then going to make an Arcana check.
Can I assist?
You can assist. And he rolled a big fat 7. Bothrid's there. No.
We should perhaps head back.
Back where? Tent? Tavern? Look, wolf.
Well, you told them. Yes, it's very nice. You told everyone that you'd be meeting us at the tavern, so we might as well just make our way there, perhaps visit the market.
Okay. And it's at this point, as you look now beyond the crowd, you see sort of a line of buildings. One side was the path that you walked up from the blacksmiths and the sort of the general merchants, and then there is another path round, and this is where you see some of the tents, and you hear the merchants' calls, and you begin to make your way towards those merchant tents with Bothrid. Back in the tent.
I now have a question.
I rolled a 2, so I don't deceive. I don't detect fuck all.
We recently found ourselves over in Greenflower, over the waters. There was some strange things going on over there. The occasional problem with undead, and yeah, it was a bit spooky. We were also hearing tales of a man with red eyes haunting people. Is this something you're aware of, and would you know anything about these tales of Nyland?
Make me a deception check, please.
16.
Okay. Man with red eyes, you say?
Yeah, hearing it about.
There is many a myth about figures with red eyes. Why, not long back, I heard a story from Moonbright of a advisor to the Earl there. Earl, Mayor, call him what you will. Supposedly, he was dispatched by a band of adventurers, but not before his eyes turned red, and powers beyond his usual self were gifted to him. But then I suppose you wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
What would you do if I was to tell you we were those adventurers? Looking smug as fuck.
I had already surmised. This man with red eyes, tell me more.
He doesn't seem to want to help this place, which is fairly apparent. And
That
it
is abundantly
seems
clear.
that he is after the prophecy that my friend here asked about. He has, on a number of occasions, attempted to harm us, as well as many other people.
At this point, you can almost see the cogs and the calculations in the Tabaxi's brain. The prophecy you speak of. You are searching for it. And I can only surmise you have found parts of it. Is this true? You rolled a nat 20 on perception check, by the way.
Maybe.
Do not seek to deceive me. That much is clear. I do not wish to pry more. My tribe is already in its dangers, shall we say.
We do not want to add our dangers to yours.
Nor do I wish to bring more upon this tribe than has already befallen it. I cannot tell you where next to go. I cannot impart more knowledge than that I already have. But if you are mixed up in this, then your story will certainly be of interest.
May we part on a simple question?
Ask away, my friend.
What has befallen the lighthouse?
That happened before we arrived. The light shone apparently one evening, but did not shine the next. There have been other folk besides ourselves wandering this town. Some less savoury than even ourselves, shall we say. It is a strange time. Things, magic if you wish, seems to be on the air itself. But then, this land is always magical. Perhaps it would be worth you investigating the lighthouse.
You read my mind.
I hope we meet you again near the Maltmaster's Keep. It's always nice to meet new people.
Perhaps we will head that way. I must first be sure that we will not be ill-received. But know this, if I shall see your face again, you will be welcome amongst us even.
We would love to
It has
give in a
been
good
good.
word up at the keep and at the town. Might I ask who I would say is coming? your clan and your name?
You may. We are the Distant Wilderness Clan. My name is Candle. Candle in the dark.
It's a pleasure to meet you and to gain information.
And whom, may I ask, have I been speaking to?
My name is Dargon.
And I am Ander.
That
And your two
fellow,
friends?
that fellow who couldn't hold his drink is Kirik, and Bothrid, our hobgoblin friend, has been a
Yes.
worthy companion.
The one with the white rose. The one with the white rose.
Yes.
An interesting fellow indeed. An interesting fellow. But then you are all interesting. Let us part ways now as friends.
Thank you indeed. Back out of the chamber after sinking me ale.
And he too sinks his ale, stands, holds the tent flap open for you. And as you venture out, there are still sort of the band in the middle now, still playing a different merry jig, but they've got a bit of a party going. Excuse me, there's some kegs of ale being rolled out by either the tabaxi or the commoners, and there's very much a sense of frivolity now as we probably get to around midday-ish, early afternoon, having spent a lot of time in this tent discussing. Kirik and Bothrid, nowhere to be seen. However, over to Kirik and Bothrid. You have wandered over to the market, and there's shouts and calls of the marketers sort of ply their trade. You wander past various stalls, some selling fresh produce, some selling sort of meats and fishes. Fish. English, who needs that? Others sort of selling leather goods, some sort of trinket stalls, some selling some more common gemstones. Anything you wish to do while you wander around?
Yeah, my shopping list. Do you think I'm joking? I'm literally not.
No.
I'm going to make my way to the one selling kind of like trinkets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for kind of like essentially kind of like a set of kind of bones and sticks or something kind of a bit strange that you can roll on the table, perhaps.
And as you look, a figure comes over. Hello there. You interested? Anything? Good price. What can I get you?
I am looking for some sort of tokens that I could perhaps. I mean, my friend could spend our days perhaps looking at the sky and getting an idea of how our journey is going to go ahead. Perhaps something that could help us.
At this point, his eyes narrow. And he whispers, magic user, is it?
I am, but the items do not necessarily need to be of that kind.
Very well. May have some bones. He steps back.
Brilliant.
And as he comes forward, he presents, when I'm not knocking my mic over, some smallish, or very small, collection of bones. And as you look, he sort of points and says, cat bones, some rat bones, even some smaller dog bones. That'd be what you're after.
Yes, that looks about right for what I need. Of course, I will maybe personalize them afterwards, but for now, they will do just the job.
That's what you need. To be honest, 2 copper.
Very well, thank you. I will. Yeah, sure. I'll pass them a gold, and I'll say apologies. I do not find myself in possession of something.
Right. He holds his hand up and hands the silver and the copper pieces. Oh, well.
Thank you.
Anything else I can help you with?
Did you say 2 copper?
2 copper. So you get 9 silver and 8 copper back.
8 copper, yeah. Cheers. 9 and 8. No, thank you. That'll be all. Thank you. You were extremely helpful.
And you, my fine friend, as he looks at Bothrid. What can I offer you? Fine pearl, maybe. Maybe a necklace of pearls. Bothrid looks. No money. Thank you. Aye. Very well. And then he just turns to the rest of the crowd and shouts, "Get your trinkets, get your knickknacks, pearls, gems."
I turn to Bothrid and I say, perhaps, I don't know how long our companions are going to be, but perhaps we could make our way to the tavern and get you a drink. I will stay on the water for today, I think.
Bothrid chuckles. Yeah, good.
And we make our way to the tavern then, in that case.
As you sort of weave your way back to the tavern and you open the door and enter, the tavern owner from... Yes.
Has it been an hour?
Yep, it's been longer than an hour. You weave your way back and the dwarf steps out. Well, I thought you'd not be coming back.
So we got stuck, unfortunately, on the conversation, but we are here now.
Very well. Maybe a ruby dust. And he hands over a small pouch.
Cool.
The rest be in the back for you. I trust you be coming back for it soon.
Of course.
Very well. What be your name, good sir?
Kirik Gravetusk.
I'll be making sure to watch out for you. Your name be on the pouch.
Brilliant. Thank you. I do thank you for that. And now we head to the tavern.
And he goes back to just tink, 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 working on this, what now appears to be more than a short sword or long sword, is almost being bent into a scimitar type shape and forged in that model. And as you head back through the tavern door, there is the familiar presence of the tavern owner, the quite buxom female who you can hear the shouting before you even approach the tavern. "You stupid boy, what you doing?" And then you see the door open and this boy comes stumbling out. You see Billy sort of holding his ears like, your mum, fuck's sake. And he looks up and says, "Watch out for her. Fucking hell, she's in a bad mood."
Thank you for the warning. We will be very mindful of it. Could we perhaps get some 3 ales and just a glass of water? Thank you.
Yeah, you best be asking her. I don't think I'm going to be allowed back in for a little bit.
Very well. Well, we'll make our way to the bar.
Cool. So you now go
I assume
through
the
the
others
door.
are not here yet?
No, we're not back.
Not yet.
Cool.
But you enter, you order your ales, and you just see, that boy. End of meal be.
Anything happen in particular that we could perhaps help? He
Apart
seemed to
from
be
him
a bit
drinking a
out of
quarter
it this
my
morning.
stock. Aye.
Yeah, that'll be what.
Foolish boy.
Well, he seemed to have a handle of the situation.
If only his father was here, maybe he'd be growing up to be something. But oh well, you not need a humble barmaid's problems. Ale, you say, can I interest you in some food?
Yes, that would be lovely, actually. Some food, some meats that you perhaps have.
Very well, very well. I think I've got some ham, maybe some pork, and maybe some beef. She sort of goes back and eventually just brings out...
We'll find a table.
Karen? Brilliant. She brings out a platter and after some time, and you sort of sat drinking with Bothrid, just general chatter.
Could I ask Bothrid something?
Yes.
Bothrid, I know that you were very close to the javelin that you lost in the fight with the beast. I was wondering perhaps you could tell me a bit more about why it was so important to you.
And he hesitates, and it's almost like he's trying to find the best way to describe it. But under Dogon, in Old Land, spared me, let me travel with them. Purpose. Bought me javelin as gift. First time I given gift. Very, very treasured. Did not want to lose.
Well, Kira kind of like ponders for a second on something that he's been kind of thinking about for the previous week since they've been traveling. And I'm gonna take the kind of set of bones that I just bought, and I'm gonna put my mace on the table. And I'm gonna say, I'm sure you've seen me in a fight. I'm not the best wielding this weapon, but you seem to be more than capable. I'm more than happy to stay behind my shield, supporting. I have other means of defending myself if need be, so I think this item will be better used in your hands than mine. And I kind of slide the mace around the table.
And Bothrid sits there for a moment looking. But your mace, your weapon.
Yeah. Let's say you can hold on to that for now.
Give back when needed.
Yeah. But use it when I'm not using it.
And it takes a few moments for Bothrid to understand that. But eventually, sort of very gingerly puts his hand on the mace and picks it up and then smiles at you. Bothrid honoured. Thank you. And there is almost the faintest of tears just runs down Bothrid's cheek. Bothrid, having never known compassion, friendship, affection until he came into this particular group.
Yep.
And he loops it through his belt, picks up his sort of jug and holds it up to you. To my friend.
I pick up my jug of water and do the same.
He takes a deep sip. Two friends. And he sort of sits there, and you do have a little bit of a sort of general chatter, but generally it's silent. At some point, a bard enters the room and sort of begins playing on a lute. Although there's very few patrons in the tavern at this point, having been taken up by much of the sort of party that's going on at the other end. Rolling back over to Ander and Dargon, you have exited the tent.
And I would like to say straight off, forgive me, Dagon, I cannot get back to the tavern as of yet. I must check out the lighthouse. You don't have to come with me if you don't want to, but I need to see what happened there.
I'll come along. Let's see what's gone on there. And I know we're not going to get a chance to go with Kirik. I understand his issues with it, but yeah, come on, let's have a go.
Head towards the lighthouse.
So you take the sort of familiar path, and it doesn't take you very long to get to the lighthouse. And again, you walk up those stone steps, and you come to the door, where you can just about see the end of your lockpick still in the lock.
This time I beat on the door.
And as you beat on the door, there is no response.
And why don't you try picking the lock? Can you not get in?
I tried and failed at that this morning. I even broke my lock picking tools. I feel this one may take brute force. Shall we do it together?
Yeah, let's give it a whirl. I'll bring out the sword, take a couple steps back, and then just shield barge the door.
Okay. So I'm going to say, Dargon, roll me a strength check with advantage because Ander is assisting you. And we'll do it that way.
Yep. So does that mean I need to take thief tools out of my equipment? Because I broke them.
You'll need to purchase some new ones, put it that way.
23.
So with a 23...
Rolled a 15 and an 18.
Dargon puts the Shield of the Even Room before him, almost links arms with you, and you both just charge at the door, and as the shield impacts, there is the briefest moments of resistance before then the jaw just flattens on the inside, and the two of you sort of tumble, and both of you come back up into sort of defensive stances. Dargon with his shield up and his sword just poking over the top. You yourself, you drawing any weapons?
My faithful sword, you know the one.
With your sword just sort of balanced on your arm. And you look around, and apart from the light behind you, this room is wreathed in darkness.
Anyone there?
And that's where we're going to leave it for tonight.
You bastard!
No! Wanna carry on? Damn it!
Will we ever find out
I love
what happened
frustrating
in
my
the
players.
lighthouse?
Next week, we will find out what happened in the lighthouse. So, thank you once again for watching. Thank you for my awesome players. Some amazing bits of roleplay tonight. Hopefully everybody's enjoyed that. I know I certainly did. As always, thank you to the tools we use and the organisations that run them. So Incarnate for the mapping. Hopefully some of you have seen how awesome that can be. Ben Sounds, Tabletop Audio, Battle Bards. As always, I have been Matt Isbell, your Dungeon Master. This has been Malt and Magic, the Forgotten Kingdom of Nihilin. Wishing you all another good evening. Goodbye.